Hello and welcome to the Prisoner Officer Podcast. This podcast is a place to talk about the forgotten cops in this country's jails, prisons, and correctional centers. A place for me to try to make sense of a career spent working inside the fence with some of the greatest people that nobody sees or recognizes for the important job they do. If you haven't yet, please visit www.theprisonofficer.com. This is a great time to go to the Prison Officer Podcast website and just take a look around. While you're there, order an official Prison Officer Podcast coffee mug. That way you can drink your favorite beverage while you listen to our podcast. Just click the Shop Now button and choose the design of your choice for you or as a gift for your prison officer. Well, it's early Christmas morning here at our house, and I just wanted to take a minute and say Merry Christmas. Whether you're lucky enough to have the day off and get to spend it with your family, or if you're working a shift or two in one of the prisons, jails, or correctional centers around the world, I just wanted to remind you that what you do is appreciated. I too spent many Christmases and other holidays working inside, and despite everything, I do have some good memories of those times. Maybe the inmates would try a little harder, or maybe the staff were just in better moods, and maybe everybody was just a little distracted by the decorations, or changing schedules, or just the holidays. Whatever the reason, holidays tended to be a pretty good day to work in prison, as good days go. There was always a holiday meal, and I have to say that over the years, food service would usually knock it out of the park. Sometimes portions of turkey, a couple of times there was even an individual Cornish game hen, and of course there was always the staples of a holiday meal: mashed potatoes, gravy, green beans, and another vegetable of some type, and always a fresh baked roll. I don't know if everyone has had the same experience, but I've worked at two prisons that bake their own bread. Not only were the rolls on holidays magnificent, but sometimes a quick trip in the morning through food service would net me a fresh piece of bread with a slab of butter on it. The inmates would always get fed extra good on Christmas. Food service would use bigger dippers and put a little bit more on the tray, which put everybody in a good mood. And one holiday dessert that I really enjoyed, or learned to enjoy, was bean pie. Now, bean pie is a sweet custard pie whose filling consists of mashed beans, usually navy beans, sugar, eggs, milk, butter, and spices. Bean pies are, commonly associated with the cuisine of Muslims or the Nation of Islam, but it became something I looked forward to each year. I love them, and it's something I even learned to make at home. None of this ever replaced good home cooking, but these holiday meals usually put most inmates in a good mood and made the shift go a little easier for everyone. A holiday tradition in the federal prison system that I remember is the giving of holiday bags. I don't know if other institutions or systems do this, but it was a special treat for the inmates. The bags were filled with small bags of cookies, hard candy, pretzels, chips, maybe some candy bars. Nothing really expensive or noteworthy, but for those inmates that didn't have families sending them money from the outside, it was quite a treat. And the passing of holiday bags was something that staff got involved in. It was usually the last thing they did on the day before the official holiday. Some staff would even wear a Santa hat, or the inmates even seemed to be a little bit more gracious when they said thank you. Now, one of the most sad things for me about prison holidays was always the prison visiting room. I hated seeing the kids who were dragged in there on Christmas, or any other holiday for that matter. I always thought that should have been their day to stay home, their day to open a present, to have a meal with their family, not bored watching their parents talk to each other in some prison visiting room. But that's the way life goes. One of my own unique Christmas memories was while I was working in the lockdown mental health unit at the medical center in Springfield, Missouri. I always tried to engage the inmates on that unit when I passed trays. It was a good way for me to gauge their mood, their health, their attitude. Sometimes I would even make it into sort of a little game with questions like, what's your favorite Disney character? Or what's your favorite book? These were single cell inmates, and as I'd go cell to cell passing the trays, I'd just ask them some sort of little question. Sometimes they were really excited to tell me their answer. Other times they said F you or nothing at all. Either way, I got a pretty good idea of what their mood was by doing this. One Christmas, I remember I decided to ask, what's your favorite Christmas song? Well, their excitement to tell me really surprised me. But the fact that most of them wanted to sing their favorite song was the real surprise. Serving trays that day took me almost 2 hours. Almost every inmate in that mental health unit had a favorite Christmas song, and they knew most of the words. The things you get to see in prison on the holidays, who knew? Even with those memories, holiday can be a tough time on your family. My family put up with a lot to work around my schedules. Sometimes the kids were excited because they got to open all their presents early on Christmas Eve because I had to work a double on Christmas Day. Or sometimes we all got up early so they were opening their gifts at 4 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day so that we could get them open before I went to work. And sometimes my whole family would hold up Christmas dinner until I could get home from an early shift. Our kids are grown now, and a recent conversation with my wife really brought to life how much I missed. She mentioned how fun it was when we all went to Branson for Christmas and saw the Rockettes. I said, I never saw the Rockettes. Then we both remembered I was working that day. Then she mentioned that time we went to Silver Dollar City for Christmas with the kids. Then we both remembered that, I worked. I didn't go that time either. I know that somebody has to work these holidays, and I'm proud of what the officers in our prisons and jails do to protect society. It's not a regular job. It has to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's what we do. But I will say, don't work all the holidays. Find a way to make time for those around you that you love. The memories you make with them will be more important than the memories you make while you draw holiday pay. And once again, I'd like to wish each of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And a quick reminder to reach out to the staff you work with. It's been a rough year for many people on both sides of the fence. Take time to make sure your fellow officers are doing okay. Well, that's it for today's episode. And if you enjoy these podcasts, the best way to support the prison officer is to share these episodes with your friends and family on social media. If you haven't already, check out the Prisoner Officer Podcast on Facebook and click that little follow button or leave us a message. Better yet, leave us a review. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google, or Spotify, click the subscribe button. Till next time, I'm Mike Cantrell. Watch your back, and please take care of each other out there behind those walls. Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a great 2021.